Croods 2. Happy Thanksgiving, by the way. Someone did request Freebird. I have to actually see if I can find that. If it's on Netflix, I'll catch it like maybe tomorrow or something like that. But this was like one of the only real major release that came out this week, and I didn't catch Freaky, and at this point I'm probably not going to catch Freaky, at least not in theaters. Which I want to support theaters as much as possible right now, but it just doesn't look like that's going to pan out. But yeah, this was the major release. Someone also asked for it. One of the Jaden the Critic, I believe, asked if I was going to review it, because Jaden, you like to know about the animated films I see. I enjoy animated films as much as the next guy. I still feel like I'm a kid at heart, and adults can enjoy animated films too. I want to hear no argument to the contrary on that. That being said, full admission, I never saw the original Croods. It did well enough to get a sequel. And watching this one, I can see, I mean, obviously this is not the first one, obviously, and it's probably not, I couldn't say if it's as good or not as the first one. But it's clearly, I can clearly see the appeal of this world, these characters. It follows the same family from the first one, with Nick Cage, Ryan Reynolds, Emma Stone. When now they meet the new family, who one of them's voiced by Peter Dinklage, the father. I can't remember. I didn't stay up for the voices of the other ones. And they meet, and they find this place where the Bettermans, as they call them, live, and the difficulties getting along in that scenario with each other, and then obviously the problems that come along with it. And like I said, I can see the appeal of this world. It's very bright, very colorful, very imaginative. The creatures, like there was, what was it? Armadillo-roos. But like vanilla, they're like they're like raptor, armadillo, kangaroo hybrids. So I'm like, okay, that's kind of fun. The little sloth is just a little sloth, but it's like da, da, da. It's like, that's cute. I can get that the brother's got a pet dog crocodile hybrid. There are literal land sharks. There are pig gators, spider wolves, punch monkeys. There's a lot of giant butterflies that look like trees until they fly away. Like, there's a lot of imagination that does go on in this world that I can really get behind. The character, like the voice acting, the voice acting is actually really spot on, particularly with like Peter Dinklage and Nick Cage. Like, I'm just when watching Nick Cage's character, Crud, is it, or Krug? Watching him speak, I'm just imagining Nick Cage in a voice booth, just saying these lines and just going into his Nick Cage-isms, and it's like, yeah, I can see the appeal of this, and I'm actually having a lot of fun imagining Nick Cage doing this. There are jokes that worked. Certainly there are jokes that worked. There are also jokes that just fell flat for me. I'll say this, the brother looking at a window like it's a TV, taking like a portable square and treating it like a tablet. Look, they showed that joke off in the trailer, and like it was passable at best in the trailer. That joke really just kind of that just kind of dragged on from that joke. Kind of shot itself in the foot. Like, it just kept beating a dead horse with the joke. It's like, we get it. He's a kid. He's obsessed with the TV, the window. I get it. But well, I didn't hate this movie. I would honestly say I liked the movie. That's my general take on it. I did actually like the movie. It was fine. It was fine. I would be perfectly okay showing my kid this if I had a kid to show it to. But unfortunately, because I'm an older guy, and older. I'm early 30s right now. I'm 31, so I'm an older guy. But because I'm an adult, because I'm also kind of like what's the best way to put it? A critical thinker, in the sense that if I see something that bugs me, I kind of linger on that for a little bit without meaning to. Or if I'm seeing plot points that either don't add up, or plot points or characterization, I'm like, why would you do this? That kind of sticks with me. And both sides are learning a lesson from each other in this, but the Bettermans are stuck up assholes. The minute we see them, they immediately think that Betterman, their names are Better Man. Even Krug even says that, like, you're Better Man. And sorry if you hear that, it's the wipers, because it's really it was raining all day and it's really foggy, so I'm just kind of getting some of the condensation off my windshield. These people are assholes. Like, they are condescending as hell all the time. They are constantly belittling these people. They think they're better than them for no real reason. And then when they actually have to deal with the outside world, they are complete and utter wusses. The dad is just this jerk who is, they're trying to get Guy, the Ryan Reynolds character, to stay there and like date their daughter. But ultimately it's like, does your daughter even want to date Guy? I mean, yeah, no, it's like you just think you need to take Guy from them to save Guy and get them out of your perfect little world, which isn't perfect, as we find out, because Guy's dad, the dad, Mr. Betterman, is actually the one who caused the entire problem with the, you see it in trailers too, the monkeys are actually technically the bad guys for a while. You see the problem with the monkeys, he's the one who caused that problem, and yet he's so arrogant he doesn't admit to the problem until far later on. He keeps making tools for them, saying, haha, I made a spear, and then they all look and make a spear. It's like, at that point, when you see them copy you, make the spear, maybe you shouldn't make fire in front of them or tie knots for them. Maybe you shouldn't teach them. You ever think of that? But no, he's so freaking hipster, millennial, stuck-up snob that it's just like, it doesn't strike him. And the moms know better. Again, to bring it all around real quick, they all learn their lesson in the end. So all's well that ends well. But the mom is actually even worse in some ways. Like, they don't want their daughter to get hurt at all. They're so overprotective and so not letting her experience the world that they get, now granted, the daughter gets a severe allergic reaction to a bee sting, but they don't allow their daughter out at all. The minute the daughter wants to go out and try to save their dad, the mom's just like, no, let's go hide and let them do it. It's like, you're not a good parent or even a good spouse or a good person. You're just a coward. A scared little coward who can't muster up the courage to save the person you claim to love. They didn't like openly like, it's like, I love you, listen, but clearly your spouse. Instead, she's like, wait, my travel basket. And then she has this, then she tries to basically control the cat. I can't remember the cat's name. It's essentially their ride, their car, which I do find that fun. Like, their ride is a cat. You know, like, as they're trying to go to the right direction to save their spouses, which is right across the ravine, which granted has land sharks, but the Croods themselves would have certainly been able to manage it because they're, you know, tough as nails. She keeps steering the cat out of the mom's hand, out of mom's control, and they go careening off a freaking cliff, and that's all on that woman's fault. And then she has the audacity to blow up in all their faces, runs off, and should have been freaking eaten by spider wolves. Yes, those are a thing. Spider wolves are a thing in this world. So now again, she gets caught in like this. One other thing I'll touch on too, because it ties into this. The landscape in some of these is really creative. Like geysers that immediately freeze upon, like, geysing out of the earth, just boost crystallized ice. That's a clever, like, a little. I'm sure we've seen that similar, but it's still a clever little idea. And the mom gets caught there, and you think the spider wolf's gonna kill her. Ultimately, they save the day. And then finally she learns a lesson through that. It's one of those things where I'm watching this whole time. It's like, do you people not realize the size of the sticks up your asses? Like, granted, the Croods might not be the most hygienic of people, but you know what? They smell better than the shit you're shoveling. So get off your high horse. Maybe look at it, realize, hey, this high horse too high. Lower it and come back to reality. Come back down to earth with the rest of them. But no, and to be fair, they lived so isolated from the world that maybe they didn't understand it, to be fair. But still, like, this is weird for me to say, but there's a level of disbelief that there's only so much disbelief you can have in a cartoon movie about cave people and weird and wacky animals in a society of monkeys, punch monkeys that communicate by punching. That's how they communicate. It's like a weird violent sign language. And then And then they paralleled the story of the dad basically having to appease them with the monkeys having to appease another giant, like, King Kong monkey. It's basically like a mandrill-looking ape with, like, quills on its back. I'm not certain what the point with that is. I mean, and there's some scenes where that thing actually looked legitimately scary. So, I found that humorous, like, and then I'm just wondering, okay, does the giant monkey, just giant ape, go to appease another giant monster even bigger than him? Because that would have been, like, redundant, but also would have been hilarious. It didn't. I don't know. Overall, and again, like I said, all's well that ends well. They all learn a lesson, and they're all happily ever after. A lot of y'all, like I said, it's not a bad movie. I actually liked it for what it was. It was a fine little movie. And truth be told, I would be okay showing my kids this, assuming I'd shown them the first one. As long as they were old enough to figure out that that's not how you should treat people. And I mean, yeah, the movie kind of gives that lesson, sure, but they should immediately look at those people and say, that's not how you should treat people. It's like, that's kind of, it's like, wow, these people are, I'm sorry, like, the Bettermans were such jerks. They really, like, when I see creme de la creme ass, I like to point it out. And those people were creme de la creme asses. Prime cut ass, if you will. So, yeah, it just sticks out to me, that's all. Ultimately, though, yeah, that's my thoughts on the movie. It's fine. There's nothing really standing out about it for me to really criticize beyond those two characters. And again, just to reiterate, they learned their lessons in the end. It's all good. Again, harmless for your kids, especially if they've seen the first one. And they like the first one, then have at it. Absolutely. But again, it's vibrant, it's colorful. The animation's nice. The characters, the characterizations are actually still very fun. Like, again, thinking of Nick Cage kind of rambling in some of these things, I'm like, yeah, that's kind of what I want from my Nick Cage. The few times I do enjoy Nick Cage, it's kind of when he's kind of going off the rails. Or The Rock. Or Ghost Rider, honestly. There are a few Nick Cage movies I do like. But to be fair, The Rock's more for Sean Connery, Ed Harris, all of them. And Nick Cage is just elevated because he's working off Sean Connery, Ed Harris, all of them. Ghost Rider, it's more that, I get to watch the Ghost Rider. I don't really care about Nick Cage. I want to watch the Ghost Rider. When Ghost Rider's on screen, it's pretty awesome. I kind of am okay with A Sorcerer's Apprentice. So there's a couple Nick Cage films I don't mind. I'm just not a huge fan of them, but I also don't hate on them. Like my dad does not like Nick Cage at all, at all. But besides that, yeah, nothing to really write home about. It's a passive film. For this Thanksgiving weekend, if you are brave enough to, go out to the theaters, and should know, if you want to go out to theaters and feel you can be safe enough, I encourage it. Please support your theaters as much as you can in this time. Because, let's be honest, if we're not supporting them right now, theaters are a razor-thin margin kind of business. And they've been hit hard by this. And they're already starting to see losses. Some theaters are closing. Deals are being made with studios that should not be made if you want the future of films to be in the theater, like mostly in the theater. So if you want to go out, if you feel safe enough to go out and go see movies, please go see them. Go get concessions. Do what you can to support your local theaters. Because it's our job as the consumer to be as okay with going to the theaters as we can in this time. And obviously it's safety. If it really is not, if you're in a state in the US or you're in a country in the world where COVID is just going mad right now and the US is currently in a second spike, then obviously don't risk it. I mean, safety first. But if you can and if you feel safe enough to go out to the theaters, I highly encourage support your local theaters. Absolutely. This PSA brought to you by Clockwork Highlander. So that's my thoughts on the movie. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Now I don't know what the next film I'm going to see is, because frankly there just there isn't a lot coming out. They moved Free Guy. They moved Death on the Nile. The only things we got left coming out at the end of the year right now are Wonder Woman and Monster Hunter on Christmas. And Wonder Woman is also doing a release on streaming as well at the same time. So Wonder Woman will actually probably be my go-to first, and then Monster Hunter, because I do want to see. I like the Monster. The Monster Hunter is a great world. trailer, we'll see what happens with the movie. But still, I want to go see it, so here's hoping. Until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I will see you next time. Who Would Win will be up tomorrow. It's same. Well, I mean, it's the week of Who Would Win, but it's, same business as usual. So later, folks.